Are you a student at Cedar Falls High School? Do you think your actions outside of school reflect positively or negatively on your school? Cedar Falls High School should either revise their code of conduct to make it fair to include all students, not just speech participants and athletes. I'm Alexa Rubion, a student at Cedar Falls High School, and I am one of many students who have received 20% for being at a party. I'll be explaining why students shouldn't be punished for activities outside of campus, why the school should give punishments to everyone who is caught, and how students feel the need to run, hide, and lie to authority to avoid punishment. Why should students be punished for activities outside of school functions and not on school property? It's not fair to punish students if you are not at a school activity or on school grounds. Skylar Loper, a senior at Cedar Falls High School, explains the story of how he was penalized for not being on school grounds or at a school function and still was penalized.
Were you at a school function or on school grounds when you were caught?
No, I was not.
And how do your parents feel about the school penalizing you?
They didn't really like it, but it's just, that was my penalty.
Did it affect how you played for the team when you received 20%?
Yes, because now I can't participate in open gym.
Why should the school have the right to punish you and decide your punishments when ultimately your parents should have the final say? According to debate.org, many people argue that school is for educating and not disciplining. It is the parents' job to discipline their kids. Schools should only punish those on campus who disobey the rules, which is understandable, but you can't be in control of what is done outside of school. That is where the line needs to be drawn. This debate is very controversial. However, why should the school be in control? Why do the cops of our city have the right to report incidents that are outside of campus? It's not fair to the students. It's not the school's responsibility. The answer is within the question itself. If the case is outside the school's jurisdiction, then the school should not jump into the matter. It will not be healthy and will result in resentment against the school by the students. This will turn into a rebellious attitude and a hostile behavior towards any and all kind of authority figures, according to debate.org. If we punish our students for what they do outside of campus, we will see disrespect towards those adult figures. It will cause students to act bitter with anger because of what the school decided to do to them. Some argue that students' outside behavior reflects on the school, according to the Cedar Falls High School Student Activity Handbook. However, this would not be true if the cops did not report every incident to the high school, and it goes unknown. In the workforce, if one is pulled over and is given a DUI, that is not reported to an employee's workplace, therefore not making the workplace look bad. So why should the school be informed? In conclusion, the school shouldn't be able to decide on your punishments due to activities outside of campus. Because we allow the school to decide our consequences for us, it makes students more disrespectful towards adult figures, and the school is simply for educational purposes only, and not for behavior outside of school. It's just not the school's responsibility. What is the punishment for those who get caught at a party or caught drinking or smoking? Well, according to the Cedar Falls High School Activities Handbook, if you participate in speech or in any athletics, you'll be penalized by not participating for 20% of your season or play. But for those who are not in a sport or don't participate in speech, receive nothing. There's nothing to stop them from doing what they did again. It's not just athletes or speech participants who represent Cedar Falls High School. Every single student is representative of our school. Athletes and speech students shouldn't be punished by the school, especially if there isn't a punishment in place for all students. How do you feel about the 20% rule?
I feel the 20% rule is an adequate rule as long as the punishment fits the crime. And I think each crime has to be looked at individually. And, am I against it? Not necessarily, but am I for it? I think it just depends on the actions that
Do you feel there should be a different punishment for students caught on school grounds versus off campus?
I think there probably should be an evaluation of the punishments, especially if they're on school grounds versus off school grounds. If it's not a school function or is not supervised by the school, I think at that point the parents should be responsible for what actions or what punishment they provide their children or kids.
Do you feel that a school can impose a student to be evaluated by pathways?
I don't believe that's the right thing a school should be doing. especially if the parents are not involved or the parents have not given consent. I believe it's, the confidentiality concerns that I have about having pathways or any organization have findings of whatever they may be on my child. I should be involved. I should be able to, or my wife and I should be able to have a little bit of direction and reason to either do it or not do it.
Do you feel schools are harder on students more now than they were 10 years ago?
I'd say probably yes, on students that are not committing major offenses or problems. I think everything's been kind of equalized, that everybody gets the same punishment for different levels of activity that are not condoned upon by the school. So I guess looking back, it was easy for a principal to give a spanking to a student for doing something wrong in class, and I think nowadays I can't do that. But yet we're sitting there deciding the fate or the future based on a jury.
Thanks, Dad.
You're welcome. Don't screw up.
People feel as if, though, they are given less power to punish their kids. It shouldn't be in the school's hand to decide what they can and can't do. Some parents feel that the school systems have a tighter hold on us now than they had 10 years ago, crossing the parental boundaries. How is getting caught going to affect those students academically or during practice? It doesn't affect their performance, so why should the school be able to choose our fate? At this point, these codes appearing to be causing more harm to schools than to any student violating them, says Forbes' Bob Cook, the author of Parents Are Killing the High School Athletic Honor Code. These codes of conduct that are enforced are causing more problems and dissatisfaction between student athletes, their parents, and the school. More and more parents are becoming upset with the school for those who are reported to the school and get in trouble. Yet other students can lie their way out of or convince friends to vouch for them. But the honest students who do not run from police, do not lie to the police or to administrators of the school, are the ones that are punished. Only active students are punished. The school could make this fair by enforcing detention or not allowing students to participate in school functions. I am one of those students who has received 20% because I was caught at a party that was being held at a student's home, not on school grounds. The one thing that has upset me the most is that I play soccer in the spring, and I consider soccer my main sport, which I will be playing in college. In order to get rid of my 20% before soccer, I made the decision to participate in another sport before. However, those who did receive 20% and are not in a sport or activity, there are no consequences for them. Nothing is going to stop them from doing it again. Why should I be penalized and those not in school activities shouldn't? They say athletes are a representative of the school, but so is every student at Cedar Falls High School. What makes me different than any other student at this school? If we are trying to be fair, then we need to get rid of penalizing only athletes and those involved in school activities. We all represent the school we go to. That doesn't mean we should be treated different because some are in sports and activities and others are not. In the Cedar Falls Student Activities Handbook, it says how it's a privilege to play sports and participate in school activities, such as speech. That athletes and participants of speech are representatives of our school. This is a true statement, but only a small representation of the school. Every single student, staff, and faculty member is a representative of the school, not just athletes. As you can see, every single person in this room is a representative of our school. It's not fair to punish those in school activities, and then those who are not in school functions to not be penalized at all. Nothing is going to stop them from going back and doing the same thing they had gotten in trouble for. The code of conduct is unfair to athletes and those who participate in school activities. Due to the fact that the code of conduct is written for athletes and speech participants and not for the entire student body, it causes athletes and speech participants to run, hide, and lie to the cops and school officials. Student codes of conduct vary from school to school. At a high school in Wisconsin, the code covers all students.
I'm Bradley Prentice from Pulaski, Wisconsin, class of 2015, UW commit.
Please share if your high school has a code of conduct for athletes.
My high school does have a code of conduct for athletes.
How does your school handle the 20% rule?
My school has a 15% rule.
As you can see, codes of conduct vary from school to school. With different rules come different forms of punishment and penalties. The code of conduct should be revised to state all students. For those that are not athletes or speech participants, penalties could include detention, in-school suspension, or being barred sitting with student body at events. It is a privilege to play sports. However, it is also a privilege to receive an education. Again, are you a student and a representative of Cedar Falls High School? You make a difference here. Your actions make a difference here. We are all equal. We all make a difference.